Hello there, welcome back. This is Sheepishly here once again, and today I have a classic farming strategy which is running cheap boxes in the special Vaal Temple map. For those of you who hasn't run one of these maps before, the implicit is what you want to be paying attention to, which is that area contains 10 additional guarded Vaal Vessels. Now, these Vaal Vessels are actually counted as strong boxes, so they drop a great variety of loot, sometimes corrupted, sometimes double corrupted, but most importantly, since they count as strong boxes, they are impacted by Scarabs. 75% increase explicit modifiers, so if you roll something like containing 5 additional items, it becomes containing 8 additional items. And of course, ambush scarab or hidden compartments, which gives 15% chance for strong boxes to be openable again. So that scarab, plus these Atlas node tree secret compartments, as well as these small nodes leading up to it, means that you have something like 30% chance to be able to open up every single strong box in your map, including these special Vaal Vessels. Now, what makes this farm different this league compared to the other leagues? Let me show you. If I queue up this video of the Vaal Temple here, you're gonna see in 3 seconds. As we get into it, there you go. What GGG has buffed this league, it's the radius on the mini-map icons. That's right, you can see all these strong boxes in a massive radius around you, which you couldn't before. And that is a huge quality of life because all we care about are opening these strong boxes, so we can just make a beeline towards them, open them, move to the next one, open them, move to the next one, and once you're done with all the strong boxes, well, you're free to port out. Or you can stay around and try to kill the boss. The boss does have a very low chance to give this item, which is Cooperation Vaal Aspect, which is one of the 3 components you need to make the Adorned unique jewel. Now these ones goes for anywhere between 1 to 1.5 divines, depending on when you try to sell them. I think currently the price is a bit lower. Now I did manage to sell one for about 2 divines earlier, but the price kind of just fluctuates. Now, as you know, the lucky drop of this farm is actually some crazy double corrupted uniques, which can go up to something like 100 divines, depending on where it is. Obviously, I wasn't so lucky during this farm. I think I found about 50 maps. Now, I did manage to make some small sales, such as these 2 divines for the Leash of Ablation, as well as some very nicely double corrupted Southbound and Dordry Scorn. The other thing this farm spits out quite a bit are jewels, and these jewels are normally double corrupted. If you can see where I'm going with this farm absolutely spits out corrupted blood jewels. And these ones, depends on the rolls for them, goes for anywhere between 30 KLs, 50 KLs to something like 1 divine, 2 divines if you have one with very nice rolls. Now jumping over to the history tab of the trade side, you can see that I was able to sell this jewel, which is not too great, for about 2 divines, and I think what they were going for is this T1 increased damage over time while holding a shield. So very nice little profit there. Now the last thing I want to go over are map drops. If you have a look at the tree, which I'll link in the comments below, you're going to see that I'm taking all the map drop chances, as well as taking the concealed logistics node, which makes strong boxes in your maps are duplicated. Strong boxes actually drop a tremendous amount of maps, and these maps all have a chance to become tier 17 maps, tier 16.5 maps, which as you know go for quite a lot of money. Now the downside of this strategy is that the maps that drops from Vaal Vessels are actually corrupted. For example, you can see all these corrupted ziggurat maps I was able to collect from this farm. Now, a corrupted map doesn't sell for as much as an uncorrupted one, but you can see that these still go for something like 35 kills, which is almost a quarter of a divine. You're going to be collecting these quite a bit throughout the course of your farm, as well as tier 16.5 maps, which as you can see from the tab here, I've got almost 40 of them. Now, before we wrap up, I would just like to quickly go through the Scarab setups, as well as a couple of tips for how to run these maps. Now, alongside the hidden compartments, as well as Potency, I am running 2 ambush Scarabs, as well as 1 Discernment. You could also drop the Discernment, I just run another ambush Scarab, that's all fine. The ambush Scarabs are just super efficient because we are already running hidden compartments, Potency, as well as all the strongbox nodes here on the Atlas tree. If we come over to the vault here, you're gonna see that for this map, there's a lot of little ledges and little bumps here and there, so it's quite inefficient to be running through them or using shield charge, which is miserable. I do not recommend using shield charge for this one. So you definitely want something that makes you jump around. For example, a Frost Blink, like I'm using, or Leap Slam, or Flame Dash even. That's just gonna make your life a little bit easier. If you can blink, you can see that as I blink through the map, it's quite fast and it's much more enjoyable, right? So that's probably the first tip I would like to leave with you guys. The second one, it's more personal preference. I don't actually tend to do the defend wave breach encounters in this map. I just think that the maps themselves is not that juiced, so doing those defenses is a little bit of a waste of time. But hey, if you enjoy the mechanic, feel free to do it. It will just add something like 30 seconds to a minute to your maps. I almost forgot to just quickly go over the Atlas tree. So obviously we're taking out all of the Strongbox nodes, including the one we talked about, Secret Compartments, as well as all the duplications for divination cards, maps, as well as currency. For the rest of the tree, we're just filling out in terms of a little bit of shrines to make us go a bit faster. For these map drop chances, like I mentioned before, tier 17s are quite expensive this league, so giving us a little bit of map drops is always nice. Chance to drop Scarabs here and there, including the rare ones, as well as all the small nodes for the explicit map mod effects around the tree. Now, I am doing Syrian Exarch, but if you want, you can do the Eater of the Worlds, that's no big deal. One question you might have is why do we not run Twist of Fate, which historically people have been running with strategy. Well, the thing about Twist of Fate is that it's good because it gets us out of this Vaal Temple layout, which is fantastic, but what's bad about this keynote is that if you raid it, any map crafting options applying to them are also modified unpredictably when opened, and we do want to be running the ambush map craft because it gives us another 4 boxes, as well as for higher chance for Scarabs drop to be ambush Scarabs. You could always hit that containment for a little bit of extra jackpot. Well, that's it for this strategy. I'm not going to be quoting a Divines per hour, which I've noticed a lot of content creators seem to be doing nowadays, partially because I don't exactly know myself. Some of these drops from the Vaal Vessels takes a long time to liquidate, especially with the double corrupt, so the real Divines per hour is likely to be higher than whatever I quote anyways. Also, this is essentially just an augmented version of the cheap boxes strategy, which, as you know, if you run on tier 16s, you can probably get something like 10 divines an hour, or I've seen some people quote 17, 18 divines an hour just running these 5 Scarabs on tier 16.5 maps. So if you must have a number, this strategy is likely somewhere between the ballpark of 10 to 15 divines. As you can see from the highlight video of earlier, we definitely drop quite a lot of divines, Valdos and stuff like that, because it is a ambush strongbox strategy. You are going to be dropping duplicated divines, Valdos, and maybe if you're lucky, Hinokur's logs and mirrors. So have a go, see if you like it. I definitely really enjoy it. This is a very chill strategy. This is actually my winding down strategy, so when I'm about to go to sleep, I'll queue up maybe 5 or 6 of these maps and just run through and see if I drop something fun. Well, there you go. That's all for today. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.